Hi everyone, it's a Tides Changing here, and welcome to part 6 of Let's Build a Shopping District. First up, a lot of you felt like the bright cyan walls were just way too overpowering, so what I ended up doing was changing it to a more toned down version of the same color. It's not the color it currently is, but a different one. Tori also suggested placing a security camera in, but I didn't realize how enormous they were, and to me they were a little bit too big. If they were smaller, I would have kept it in because I thought it was a really great idea. But now moving upstairs to fix up the area up here, quite a few of you pointed out that I really should knock out the bit at the end near the refrigerator so that Sims can actually get through. I don't know what I was thinking when I put that in. That was just a bit of a brain fart kind of a moment. So I did fix that. I also shortened it a little bit, which was suggested by Jesse. I also got rid of the microwave, which was suggested by Miss Ambi123. That way there's no issues with the blinds intersecting at all. Also added some more rugs in, which Kyle Sims thought that the kitchens could use. Some of you brought up that I should lose the end chairs on the larger tables as it made the place look a bit too crowded. And then William thought it looked better if that table was facing the stairs so that at least one person got a view of something other than a wall. And next, Crown Rebel thought it could look good to have a large sign similar to the one that's above the counters. Only problem is when I blew up the lighted signs, it was just the framework that expanded rather than the sign itself. But then I thought it could look neat to have this sign that you just saw there above the stairs, although I did take it out for the time being, but I figured that a sign could look better than the fancy painting that was there. Next, Camilla thought a mirror could fit in well with the environment, and I thought it would look pretty good too, but in my mind I was envisioning this rectangular mirror that was wider than it was tall, but still in the fancy elegant kind of a style. However, when I went through the mirrors, I realized that there wasn't actually a mirror in the formal style that was that size, like kind of the dimensions of the painting that's up there currently. So I just ended up not going with a mirror for there. I tried one along that wall, but it just seemed a bit out of place there. I think a mirror would have worked if there was a different shape for the fancier mirrors. But right now I'm going back to figuring out the sign situation there, trying that word sign. I figured it could be like the name of the place or something like that. I actually liked how it looked above there. I felt like it did look better than the fancy painting. I took out the wall light, so there was a bit less going on the wall. Foxtrot Remedy brought up that the two-seater area was a bit dark looking, so I brightened up the wood so it matched the larger table that is closest to it. I also brightened up the colors of the chairs some. They also suggested swapping the positions of the love seat, so I gave that a go. I guess so that way you don't have a neutral color against a neutral colored wall. Also, Swiftly Simmer, Amber, and Saga all suggested making the chairs mismatched, so just taking the chairs from the different tables and, swapping them around. So I tried that out just to see how it looked, but I felt like it was a little bit too busy and that it looked better just to have the same chairs at each of the tables. And I felt like the fancy lights were a little bit too much, so I decided just to go back to the more modern lights. I struggled a bit with trying to figure out exactly what would look right as far as furnishing in this place. There was some mixed reactions to the mismatched look. I feel like more of you liked it than not, but then, there were some people who just really didn't like it and wanted me to go with a more matched look, but in the end I decided to keep the mismatched theme because it's something I haven't really done before, and I think it's good to try new things every so often. And plus I feel like with matched furniture it actually looks a little bit bland. I also changed a lot in the bathroom because it was brought up that it was a bit too big for a place like this, especially since it didn't have any stalls and only one toilet. Also that it looked more like a home bathroom than a public one, which actually was what I was going for, but I can see how going for more of a commercial look would be better. So what I decided to do was split the bathroom in two, make one half of it an employee bathroom that you can only get to from the kitchen, and then the other half is the public bathroom for the customers. And this was suggested by Jesse. I thought it was a really great idea. Other people brought up having stalls, like I guess 2 or 3 toilets. The issue with that is that you're going to end up with 1 or 2 stalls that have a window in it, which I didn't really want, and I didn't want to get rid of the window, so I felt like this was the best way to go about it, and I just made it look overall more commercial. Rather than the stone flooring and floral wallpaper, I decided to go with a more sterile white tile and just plain paint on the walls and kept the decorations to a minimum. That's really about it for the bathrooms, but as far as the cafeteria goes, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out exactly the style that would look best. Because I felt like all the formal furniture I had in there just didn't look quite right, didn't go with the kitchen, which was brought up by quite a few of you. It just made the place look really dated, but then I actually tried putting all modern furniture in. I cut it out though because I spent so much time on it that it would have made the video over 40 minutes long, and I didn't keep any of it, so I felt like it was best just to keep it out of the video, and I also didn't take any pictures. But anyway, when I had it with old modern furniture, I felt like it didn't have the character that it does now. Like, it just looked kind of boring, nothing really too special about it. So I realized that too modern didn't look, like old modern didn't look right, and then old formal didn't look right either. So then I was trying to figure out what kind of a balance between the two would look right. So first up, I replaced the wallpaper with just a solid paint of the same color, removed the moldings, which I think helped to make it look a little bit fresher, more up to date. And next what I did was I replaced the really formal paintings with pop art, which was suggested by Matali. At first I wasn't sure how that would look, but I gave it a try, and I actually really liked how it looks. I feel like having that on the walls versus the formal painting gives it more of a trendy look, like a modern, up-to-date place that just got older second-hand furniture to be trendy. So this was actually the look that I stuck with, and hopefully that makes this place look a bit better to you all. I personally like this look a bit more. For the remainder of the part, I'm going to be mainly focusing on the exterior. I will be starting off around here, and I was thinking it could work to just take this fence, bring it, oh, right, I have to click this, just bring it around like this, get rid of this, and just have it all be one continuous garden, have this path continue around. And I'm just going to leave this whole area, probably this area in here, for the very end of the series, because I want to figure out exactly what everything's going to be, how everything's going to be laid out before I do this area back here. So I'm doing this in a different order than I usually do, because usually I just do the whole exterior and then I move on to the interior. But I do think it's good to break up the interior and exterior so it's not like 10 parts of exterior before I get to the interior, which with this series is probably what it would be, or I don't know, maybe not quite 10, but it'll probably be more than the 5 or 6 it has been in previous series. But I'm thinking some of these in the corner would be good, and I probably will have this continue around back here. Alright, so I'm just going to use the same kind of plants I used elsewhere. Ooh, that looks nice. We can get a couple of those. Actually, probably don't want to have it be all symmetrical and such, make it look a little bit more random. Alright, so I'll go with that plant. We can do this one here in... We can go with a different color of it. I was also thinking a little tree right in here could be good. Okay, so let's go... Maybe not. Maybe a tree would be a little too busy. What was this? This was the hawthorn tree. That one won't exactly work. I don't think bamboo would really fit in there. This could work well right in here. I don't know if it's a little bit too busy. Maybe I should just stick with plants and not have trees. Do add in the dull daisies. Let's go and we could throw one of these in. How about that? And there was another, yeah, I think this one will work right here. And then I think just a few more and we're good on this. Alright, so for right here, we'll get that, and, okay, actually, I think one more. Oh, never mind, that's a little bit too much. So is that. That's a little bit larger than I wanted. Oh, we'll just go with another one of these. Okay, so that's what we have here. This garden area is a little bit fuller. We can throw another one of those in. Actually, did this have... Oh, okay, right, this is the one with 3 colors. Alright, we'll go with the purple, and then I think another bench right here would be nice, and then maybe a trash can next to it. Yeah, I think we could have a trash can next to it. Okay, so that's what we've got around here. I don't know, maybe a tree would be good for some shade. Yeah, I actually rather like the tree. Although I'll get it away so you don't have any issues with it intersecting into the trinket shop here. Let me see how close I can get it before it goes inside. I think I can get it in there a little bit more. Okay, yeah, right there is fine. So I think I will leave that in. But just, yeah, I think the shade is really nice. It'll look better once everything back here is done. And then in this area, I believe I mentioned this, but back here, I wanted to put some trash cans outside this door and then like a garden area. And those are things that were suggested by quite a few of you in past parts. So that is what I'll do. A chain link fence was suggested in the past, but I think it'd be good to go with something a little bit nicer looking, or there is this one, actually, maybe this one's... I want to go with something a little bit nicer looking and use this one instead, like the taller privacy fence. You know, so they can keep people out of this little garden area, and actually I should go in a... I think a nice bright white color would look a little bit better, so I'm gonna go with that, gonna go with this... right here. That works, and get rid of that, and I think this spot right here would be a perfect spot for the gates. Okay, yeah, this is the one that matches. We'll get that in the correct color, and I forgot that there isn't an all-white coloring, but actually, I forget if can we change. Yeah, good. We can change it after it's placed. I think I'll go with that one. I don't know why they don't have an all-white coloring for that, but oh well. I mean, that does look fine. Oh, before I forget, I should have some outdoor lights, like an outdoor light on one side of the store here. I keep being a little bit lagger than usual, but I'll have a light on one side, and then on the other side, I think we do need a little sign. Actually, now that I think about it, I should have put the sign on this side, because you probably would want the sign closest to the roadside. So I'm just gonna move this over to here, bring it to door level. We got the sign. Gonna change the color so it looks a little bit different than that one. So I think a nice green tie-in with the greenery here would look pretty good. Yeah, we'll go with that. I want to get some trash cans out here, like the more commercial looking ones. I mean, I guess these are, well, this is, I guess, what it looks, I mean, I don't think like a dumpster bin is probably what would look best back here, but there's not one of those. It's probably not the best to have a garden and dumpsters right, or like trash cans right next to each other, but I didn't really want to create a separate area. I mean, I could chain link this off, but that might look kind of odd. So we'll just keep that. Maybe I could have some like just a concrete area that kind of goes out a little bit like this, and then the rest of it's just grass and garden. I think that would look good because it might seem a little bit odd, or maybe even like a path. Then that wouldn't leave a whole lot of space for the garden. Trying to figure out how exactly to do this. Okay, so let me go with this. It might be a little bit easier if I tried using this rather than actual flooring, because it does give a little bit more freedom, I guess that's what we can do. So I can go with that, try like a path going off of it like this. So it doesn't leave a whole lot of space for a very big garden, but I mean it does work. Alright, that looks pretty good. For the rest of it, I'm just gonna have as many garden beds as I can fit in, which isn't a whole lot. I mean, there's not much space back here for that. So we can do a couple of these. We can fit one of these in here. Like we could just have a couple of these on the pavement. I don't know if you would have one right near the trash cans. You know, I could... It actually might look a little bit better if I extend this over more and then just have another trash can. So, like, I mean, I could put a plane next to the trash can, but that just doesn't seem quite right for me. I feel like this place would probably have a good bit of trash cans back there. This probably wouldn't be the most pleasant area to garden in with all these, but I mean, it's a sim, so... It doesn't really matter, the trash just kind of disappears once it goes into here. Okay, so we want to have a light back there, and I think some gardening supply decorations will look pretty good, so those are in miscellaneous. I have to go through and find them. Alright, yeah, so get one of those. There's not enough room for that little flower cart I like to put in sometimes. Or, there might be. I could probably fit it in. Where's this? Oh, that was what I put out there. We can do another one of these over here. I think you probably want a little set by... Actually, we'll leave that out. Yeah, so we'll get the different one over here. Maybe I could cram in that little cart right next to it, and then I could even, since I do have the show hidden objects already, show hidden object sheet already put in, I could, I believe they have some already sprouted vegetables in there, so I could actually put some of those in here, have this garden already started. Is this getting too cramped? Maybe. Maybe it is. Yeah, that doesn't look quite right back here. So we'll just take that out. And I'm going to see if I can find the plants. Maybe I just search for plant. Actually, that's not really going to do me much good. So I'm just going to go through the debug items and see if I can find that. Here there are some trees. So I could have one of the boxes have a tree in it, and then another one have just 4 lower plants. Okay, so we got pomegranate, plantain, pear tree, and cherry tree. What would be best to have at a bakery? I mean, I think apple, I don't know what this is. Okay, so we got same ones up here. We got an apple tree. I mean, maybe an apple tree would be better for a bakery with common fruit. Like, we could make apple pies with it. And, oh, okay. Alright, so it looks like it's just putting it back to the just planted form. Well, but that should make it pretty easy to get something going in there. I'm not really seeing any other plants, and since this is just, like in that form, maybe I'll just take that out and leave it so you all can figure out what you want to put here yourselves. And I think some darker, is there darker grass? I think there might be darker grass. Okay, so we can go with some darker grass for here. Yeah, okay, that looks better. A while back, I believe a couple of you suggested moving this shop forward 1 tile just to add some more separation. So I will do that. I think it would make things look a little bit better. Because there were also suggestions to add columns in for separation, but I think this looks a little bit better. And I wish it had the... Ugh, I don't like where that's going. The little border part of it. I really wish you could just pick where it went. Ugh, oh well. So anyway, I think it would look good to extend this forward a bit. Keep it the same distance forward. So, I mean, that way when you're on the second shop, like I can put some tables and chairs and stuff out here, so people can also just kind of sit out there and hang out. Or what I could do is have a bit of furniture in the store and have it be an outdoor furniture area. Maybe that could work, like put some grills, some outdoor tables there that are also for sale. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to put in this shop. But I'll get to that a little bit more once I move on to the inside. I also wanted to see if there's perhaps a better looking fencing for this. Is that different? Okay, so that's different than what I had here, but I think that this one would look a bit better. Yep, so I'm going to go with that. And I think I'm going to keep the coloring the same in this. Okay, yeah, since we got... I mean, I could go with... I mean, blue and green are the only things other than neutral colors for this. So we could go with green. Because some of you did like the different colors I had going on back in the beginning. The only problem is this doesn't really have colors that go with it. I mean, this kind of works, like different greens. Maybe. Yeah, I actually like that. I wish there was... I mean, we could go with, like... There are some other colors, like yellow, but... I don't really like how any of these colors look with it. Anyway, I think some trim here, like we could use this trim to cover up, like, whatever this is. The side of the flooring, because that doesn't look quite good. Once again, the colors are different. This one does have some better colors. We could go with that. And then since I changed that, I did not mean to put that there. Since I changed that, I could also change this to be the same kind of green as well. And if there were colors other than blue and green that the fencing, the frieze came in, that weren't neutral colors, I would totally go with that, but that's it. So it's what I have to go with if I want to do something other than a neutral color. Because some of you did want me to put a splash of color back in after I sort of went through and made everything neutral back in the first part. But I do also want to change up the entrance. So since with the bakery I went for a more traditional look, with this shop I wanted to make it a little bit more modern and high-end on the inside. So I think I'm going to go with more modern doors to go into it. So like this. And also to give some more variety to the windows and doors that I use, so it's not all the get-to-work ones. Okay, so we could go with this. Was there a... Okay, no, there wasn't a 3-wide one with this. But there is at least a one wide one that matches, so I can go with this. Yeah, I think that works, and I'm pretty sure... What do you guys think of that? Yeah, I think I'll keep the end ones off there so you can see the border on the side. And... Oh, did I somehow undo the trim? I don't remember doing that. Who knows? My game's acting up a bit right now. I don't know why. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. I do believe these windows... Oh! Okay, that works. We'll go with this. I think I'm just going to keep the same windows up top here, but we'll go with the green coloring for them so it matches. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. And this door was from Get to Work, but there is some white in the windows here, so it does coordinate together. So I think that's fine. And then around the back, let's do the same thing. Get these windows in. Yeah, I'm just going to do... I can't remember exactly what height I had them around front, but I'll just do that. Just do like this kind of placement. Around the back, I was thinking either there could be a second entrance into the shop around here, or it could be like one of these doors, like the double door version of this, and have it be off of sort of a stock room. But then again, we'd probably also want to actually use all the space in here for displaying things, because there's really... I mean, this isn't so huge, so I figure with this being a department store, you would want to use all the space for the actual shop rather than having a storeroom in half of it. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with this. And see how it looks if we put the same modern windows back in, like does it look odd? Maybe a little bit odd. What if we put trim? Does that help at all? Maybe? Yeah, I'm not so sure. Something about this just feels sort of off. I mean, it works out front because you have the deck above it, but back here it just doesn't work quite as well, I think. It might look kind of odd if I took out those windows and then just added this back in. Like, would that be fine? Moving out front here, I do need to figure out how to get signs and displays and such up so you can really tell it's a store. So first up, I think some decals on the windows, so we can go with the non-bakery ones like this. Maybe this to like say there's clothing, so it's all clothing and furniture in here. Does this enlarge? That looks pretty good once you size it up. So I can just have these two decals in here. This one. Yeah, I think that's fine. Made a little bit bigger. What color? Maybe we'll go with like a brighter green. Yeah, we can do that. Brighter green. Yeah, I like the brightness of that. And then for this one, we can go with maybe an orange. Yeah, we'll go with an orange. And then for lighting out here, rather than having the wall lamps on either side here, what I'm going to try doing is using the invisible lights and then just sticking it underneath here. And oh, that's... I was wondering why there's purple light against that. Okay, so I think it's... no, it's a miscellaneous. So there is a 2x2 ambient ceiling light. I find that this light is actually a little bit bright. So where is it? Oh, there it is. It was up there somewhere doing its own thing. And it... Ah, there we go. It figured it out. Okay, so the 2x2 might be too much. There is a 1x1. So that's what I might want to go with. So you can just move it right out here. And then it should figure out... I guess that's how it's going to look. Yeah, I guess that works as far as lighting goes. Let's get back to the afternoon. Should probably have a trash can somewhere. Not sure if it would be too much to have trash cans on either side. I mean, I could do that. I'm not sure what else to put there. I don't want to put benches because that would just block the window, so I think it's fine without benches there. There's not a whole lot of room here for me to put things. I don't think I'm going to do this with this shop, but because I want this one to have more of a professional, high-end kind of a look. But then for the other ones, I was thinking I could have just stuff outside, like whatever it sells, just have some of those products sitting outside. Because I've seen that with clothing stores before, like thrift shop type clothing stores, where they just have the racks of stuff sitting outside as you go along the street. I always thought that was kind of cool. I mean, I could still do that here. I'll figure that out later. I'm not sure if that's going to be too cluttered or not. But what I will do is get like one of these signs. Actually, I'll just grab this one. So I think I'll get this same kind of, or maybe I'll try a different one. Now, I like the sandwich. Oh, there's a couple other sandwich boards. Yeah, we should go with a different kind of sandwich board for variety. So I can put this here. That kind of blocks the view of the door. Put it off to the side like this. Just kind of right up against that. And I believe we have some other options, or not. Well, that looks like... I don't know what this is. I guess this is supposed to be a martini glass? That looks like some kind of freaky martini glass to me. Not sure what that's supposed to be. Maybe... Oh, maybe that's like a table? Not sure what that's supposed to be on that sign. Maybe this one. Nah, I think I like this one. I'm just gonna stick with that. I'm not gonna have too much outside here. Perhaps one more. Would it be? Nah, I think it's a little bit too much to have different, like two different signs out here. So I think I'll leave the front of this shop a little bit simpler, and then I'll have more in the front of these. But I do want to have some kind of logo type thing. One possibility I was thinking of was taking this, like this thing here, and then raising it up, and then making it look like it's attached to the railings up above here. I think that could work. Although perhaps not with that one. There was the one that I used inside of the restaurant upstairs, like this one here, which is more cursive. That one could work. I think those two are the only ones like that. But I did like this one, so we could just put it here too. So I think the cursive letters make it look like something that would be more easily attached up there. Another possibility is rather than having it here, to just move it up here, like have it in between the two floors, but then you... Oh, that actually looks kind of nice. But you can't really see that from the street as much. Yeah, I'll go with that. And for the time being, I'll just leave it at that for out here. I do also need to change up here to be more of a darker cement kind of a thing. Oh, there is this one. There you go with this. That might actually be too dark though, so I might want to go a little bit lighter. Where was it? This one? This one? Maybe? No, I want a little darker than that. So we can stick an air conditioning unit. Where was air conditioning? I finally found it. It was with the roof sculpture, so I'm just gonna... Oh, this is a little bit too square. I want solid concrete for up here. Oh, that's metal. No, that doesn't work. Oh, where would that be? That would be... maybe that. No. We'll go with that. I think that works. So I'll just plop one of these up here, go back to roof sculptures, maybe get one of these things. Roof vent, and get a roof vent. I'll just leave it for the HVAC unit for the time being. Don't want too much up there. I'm not sure like where it would be placed. I guess I'll stick it back there. Ooh, floating lights. It'll look better once there's stuff inside and you look in and you see it. Because right now it looks a little bit blah. It also once the whole street's done as well. But there's not really room for plants or anything. So what I'm going to do with the remainder of this is actually lay out get started on laying out the interior. I do want to have a basement, and what I was thinking was that I could have an electronics store in the basement, or have an electronics section, maybe electronics and appliances in the basement. Because I believe it was brought up in the beginning that, one of the earlier parts, that it might be cool to have an electronics store in the basement, kind of like the Apple store in New York City. So I could totally do that, and that could be a good use for the basement. I was thinking about putting a basement apartment in there, but I feel like a basement apartment would work better under one of these buildings because it could be really cramped. So what I could do is have a basement apartment under one of these, and then a second floor apartment above the other store. But I'll figure that out once I move on. What I was thinking, so there isn't enough space, but what I was thinking is I could have stairs on either side, like stair going up, stair going down next to each other, do that kind of a thing, and each floor have kind of its own theme with its own set of registers. Not sure, I'm not really going to be able to fit a ton in here. I mean, this isn't really the hugest space. But what kind of stairs would I want to have here? What kind of stairs would work? Do you want to go with white? I wanted to, because I do want this to have more of a polished, modern look, since I went traditional in here. I was thinking about doing 2 wide like this, 2 wide up, 2 wide down, but that would, I think, take up pretty much all the space. So I got 1, 2, actually, let me turn the grid on so I can see. Oh yeah, that'll take up all the space. So I do have to do 1 wide, but I think that works. And let me make sure this is centered. So we got, Yeah, it's an odd number, so I can't quite center, but I think that works. I think it'd be good to have it closer to the front than the back. Let me get up here. I can always change this later once I figure out exactly what I want to do, but I do have to get the stairs down here. And I'll probably just make it... Okay, where was that? That was... Yeah, that was like this. And I don't know quite what to do with that. So I'm just going to make this all just dead space. Like, just have it not really be anything. Get that. Rotate and place. So then going up here, we just have the same set of stairs going up to the other floor. And grab. And there we go. And then up here, I'll probably just wall this off. Ah, right. Not used to this new wall tool. It's pretty cool though. Okay, okay, there we go. Update the lighting. Oh, the lining here, the trim here got deleted somehow. Okay, we have to put that back in and we are good. As far as what goes where, I was thinking the top floor could be a clothing store. Like, could have kids clothing, adult clothing, have outfits from like different outfit types, like formal wear, athletic wear. See what I could fit in and maybe just cram all the mannequins that I can in here, although it's not really terribly huge. It might not work to have a bathroom on every floor like I wanted to because we're gonna need the space. Second floor, like I said, furniture. We could have outdoor furniture here on the deck. And then first floor, not so sure. Down here, electronics and appliances. And then I do have to figure out bathrooms. So what I was thinking is maybe each, maybe each floor I could just have a little, like 2x2 area, but that would just really cut down on needed space. I'll just have bathrooms on the first floor, and then like just have 2 bathrooms, and you each have just like a toilet and a sink in it. Leave it at that, and have the first floor maybe not really have a whole lot for sale, and just be more of an entrance area with some registers, seating. I think the first floor will be the only spot where I have a bathroom, and I'll just stick these bathroomy type doors in here. Yeah, so we'll go with that. There is one last detail that I thought about for the exterior here. It might look good to put some awnings up above the windows because it just looks kind of bare as is. I really do wish that there was some smaller awning, like 1 tile wide awning, but this is the smallest there is, so that's just what I'm going to go with. I think it might look fine above, actually let's just get it as far up as we can before it cuts into the trim, but I think it could look fine even above the 1 tile wide windows. I just think it adds a little something to it and gives it a more commercial type look. Although now it might be getting a little bit too busy out front here, but as far as the coloring goes, a pale yellow. I could go with green, but then it might just be matching too much if I had the awning be green too. Red reminds me of like a Christmas shop, so I don't know about that. I mean, that might not look too bad to go all red with the awning. We could do red. I mean, it's a little bit bolder than doing the pale yellow. Yeah, you know what? I'll stick with the red for the time being. But then now I feel like with that, the sandwich board is kind of busy, like with the awning on it. Or with this. Something about this just looks a little bit too busy. Or we could even have the trash can out here. Yeah, maybe the trash can out there would work better since it's more so long where people would walk. This is where I'm going to end things. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and bye!